So I guess like physical education and just like general health, it goes beyond just exercise and I guess like maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Blends in with like confidence, teamwork,
Mm.
mindset, and just like everything in general. So how do you build that connection with your students?
Usually, especially with kids, like if they're not around exercise, they like don't get the point. Like they're like, why would I
Mhm.
do that? And most kids that do it also still don't even know why they're doing it. They're just doing it because it's like what they do.
There's a lot of misunderstanding when it comes to the role of a PE teacher. So what do you wish that more people knew about your role or physical education in general?
And like a traditional PE classroom, it's just like go play this sport, and then next week we're gonna do this sport, and then next week we're gonna do
Mm-hmm.
this sport, which is great. Everyone needs to learn about sports, but there's just so much more to it, and like it's not one size fits all.
Hey everyone, and welcome to season 2, episode 1 of the NextGen Podcast. My name is Meghna, and I recently graduated from UC San Diego, and I recently moved to New York City for work. Today's guest on the podcast is Brianne Elliot, a physical education teacher and content creator based in New York City. Originally from Michigan and a proud graduate of Central Michigan University, Brianne brings a grounded Midwestern energy to everything she does. Through her work, she inspires others to find joy, movement, and motivation, both inside and outside the classroom. In this episode, we'll talk about Brianne's journey into teaching, how she balances wellness and creativity, and the ways she's using her platform to promote movement and self confidence in everyday life. Thank you so much, Brianne, for being with us on the Next Gen podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
So jumping like straight in. I first want to congratulate you for getting accepted to the New York City Marathon next year.
I'm so excited. This is like one of my like biggest bucket list things, so I cannot wait.
Did you run it this year too?
I did not know, and I watched it, and I was like, I'm doing that. I'm making this happen.
So congrats on that. So jumping like straight in, I just want to like love to like hear more about like your journey. So what inspired you to go into physical education and build like a career centered around like movement and wellness, and how has your why evolved since you started teaching?
Yeah, so I like was someone who felt very comfortable, very supported, very safe at school. And then once I started to figure out that not all students felt this way, I like felt a calling to become a teacher. I wanted to like give that to everyone. I think that's like a right, and everyone deserves that, especially as just a child where you're supposed to be able to flourish. So that was kind of my why for going into teaching. And then I soon realized that like I didn't really want to teach math or English or anything like that. I figured like I wanted to be able to connect with my students better, and that just wasn't like the setting for me. So I decided on physical education. And as I started taking classes in that field, I like gained more and more of a passion in terms of fitness and wellness and how everyone should have that accessible to them. And as it was like very obvious to me, and it was like very fluent for me growing up, my parents like knew a lot about that, and it felt very like normal for me. Realizing that that wasn't like normal for everyone, um, I just think that that's like a good. I don't know. I just like started to feel very passionate about it. I think that like wellness and health and being healthy is should be a right and not like a privilege. So everyone should have access to that. So that's kind of what led me to the physical education path. And then I started creating content kind of in the same way. And yeah, it's just like it gives me a good it makes me feel very purposeful. And so every day
Mhm.
like I feel good going into work, like I'm doing something impactful.
My mom is a teacher too, so I've kind of like seen her go through the very similar path too.
Yeah, my dad was a teacher, so I kind of also saw it, and he was like, "Don't do it, don't do it." But I'm glad that I did.
Yeah. I don't know why, like people that are usually in the field, I don't know why they're the ones that are usually deter you from the path and they're like, don't go into it. It's
Yeah,
funny.
they're like, it's not worth it. But then they do it for 50 years and they love it. So I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what's like a typical day in your life? Like I know you do content creation on the side, so both like balancing being like a PE teacher and a content creator. So like what's like a typical day in the life for you?
Yeah, I figured out that I'm a morning person, which works in my favor. So I wake up like around 5:30 or 6. and take my dog for like a long walk. I think like just getting myself going in the morning is helpful. But
Mm-hmm.
and then I spend like an hour doing my content. So I like edit or voiceover or send things to people or whatever that might include before I go into work from like 9 until 3, which is school, like when I'm teaching. And then after work is usually when I try to fit in a workout. And then also twice a week I work at a gym. So after like around 7, I have to go into that work. So I definitely have busy days. But living in New York and being a teacher is like not necessarily aligned financially. So we
Mm-hmm.
make it work.
Totally understand.
Yeah.
I barely earn minimum wage too, so I totally get that.
Yeah. We're crunching the numbers. Every penny counts.
Exactly. So what like throughout like your day, it's like super like busy, like from morning to night. So what parts of those days like kind of keep you energized and like kind of what trips you out?
I think that like because I love what I do so much, and I know everyone says that like if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life or whatever. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think that like work just feels very natural to me, and it's like where I'm supposed to be. So like all day, this feels like a good part of my day. I think waking up early to give myself some time to myself and feel productive in the morning is also helpful. But like at school, I'm like with different kids all day, interacting. I'm going outside. We're going to Central Park, like things like that. So like all day just feels like fun for me. I don't know. Everyone says that, but I'm serious.
I guess like when you're like a morning person, like the productivity levels, it just peaks. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
like I love to get everything done in the morning. So after work, I'm just like, oh, I can do whatever I want now, and it feels like I have like
Mm-hmm.
some freedom and no stress.
Yeah. I can't relate. I'm not a morning person.
Some people are night people, and that works for them, but I cannot get anything done in the night. I might as well be sleeping.
So I know like you had like some like prior experiences seeing like your dad as a teacher, but what were some expectations like of the field and how is that kind of compared to your life as a teacher?
I think that for me, at least growing up in Michigan, I got a lot of experience and like a lot of insight in being a teacher in Michigan. I also went to college in Michigan, obviously. So moving
Hmm.
to New York is like just way different. I think like the education system in New York is not even close to comparable to Michigan in terms of private schools, charter schools, public schools.
Hmm.
Like there's just so much different opportunities here, so much more specified schools. So I guess that kind of has shaped my thought on teaching a little bit. But I do think that like most people warned me about things more than the opposite. So like now that I've started teaching, I'm like, oh, it's not that bad, rather than the opposite where like some people are excited about their career and then they're like, this kind of sucks. Mine was mine was lots of warnings, lots of you're gonna hate this, you're gonna hate this, like it's a bad field for this, you're not gonna make enough money, blah 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 blah, it won't be worth it. And like I feel like so far it is worth it. Like my days are better than expected as a teacher.
Mm, yeah.
So that's good, I guess.
So I guess like teaching in like some ways can be like very demanding with like lesson plans and student care. So how do
Mhm.
you balance that with your personal life? Basically like personal, professional. How do you like balance it?
I think that having a mindset of like when I'm at work, I'm at work, and when I'm not, is
Mhm.
kind of like the way that I go through my days. So if I have work to do for school, I do it at school. Like I'm not going to like maybe I'll stay 30 minutes or whatever, but I don't ever take work home with me. And I think that that's like the biggest reason why I can like disconnect myself and like have my own time after and before school is just like using all my productivity during the school hours and then after like forgetting about it and letting myself just like take a full break.
That's nice. I try to do the same thing too, because I work at a hospital as a medical assistant. So I'm like
Mm.
I kind of like balance that too when I'm like I'm once I punch out, I'm out until the next time I'm in.
Yeah, you got to forget about it because it's like so daunting and it like weighs on you so much if you don't like just give yourself
Hmm.
a break. Yeah.
So I guess like physical education and just like general health, it goes beyond just exercise and I guess like maintaining a healthy lifestyle, it blends in with like confidence, teamwork, mindset, and just like everything in general. So how do you build that connection with your students?
Yes. Okay. This is actually a big thing. So the school that I work at is a therapeutic school. So it focuses on kids that have like the social and emotional dysregulations, mental health disorders, things like that. Uh, and being a PE teacher in that setting, these kids like don't really see the point.
Mm,
But because physical education is so much more than just like you said, just exercise, just like moving your body, and it's connected to all of those like self-esteem, teamwork, collaborating, like actually physically when you exercise you like have dopamine and endorphins going and things like that go into your mood and your focus and things like that. um Being able to teach that, like directly teach that to my kids is like so fun for me because I love opening people's minds to it. Usually, especially with kids, like if they're not around exercise, they like don't get the point. Like they're like, why would I
mhm,
do that? And most kids that do it also still don't even know why they're doing it. They're just doing it because it's like what they do.
mhm.
So starting to teach them like actual science in terms of like hormones and things like that, and how it really affects like your full day, like how well you sleep, how good of a mood you are in the morning, your appetite, things like that. Educating them on that like makes them want to get involved more, and then it like kind of snowballs.
I think growing up, I guess that was the part that was missing because I used to hate PE. I'm like the most like inactive person. So I would like hate going into PE, but then like after I think like after like middle school I really didn't have like PE. So I kind of like lost that like the why as to like why do you do it? It's not just a class, it's more than that. I
Yeah,
feel like that's the part that's missing in today's like public school
for
PE
sure.
classes.
And like a traditional PE classroom, it's just like go play this sport, and then next week we're going to do this sport, and then next week we're going to do
Mm-hmm.
this sport, which is great. Everyone needs to learn about sports, but there's just so much more to it, and like it's not one size fits all. So like expanding gym in that way, and my professors did a really good job of like teaching me how to do that in college. Is like going to be so much more helpful and like more motivating to students.
So do you have like certain days where you just like focus on about like the science and then certain days where you're actually doing like exercise or do you do like a mix of both every day?
So far, I've been doing kind of a mix. When because I'm just physical education, like that's my title. But when I teach my health courses as well, because I'm like certified in both health, I feel like you can teach more. Like you can do more sit down in the classroom and teach. But I do think like day to day, the little things like checking in with them. Oh, how do you feel now? Like, how's your day going? And then before class, and then how is it now? And then they're like, oh, I feel better. And I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
well, this is why. Like, and so it's more of like them discovering it and less of me like just lecturing them.
Okay.
But yeah, little check-ins like throughout the day, or like if somebody starts getting curious about something, or somebody mentions, oh, I forgot to eat breakfast, like those little opportunities for me to be like, okay, well, this is why, this will help with the metabolism and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's like hard to balance the structure of it because you don't want them
Mhm.
to like feel like they're sitting in the classroom during gym, but it is important to teach them.
That's nice that you kind of like weave it in, like finding out like the opportunities. I feel like that's when you can kind of connect it to personal life.
Mm. And kids don't like really, especially the high school, middle school age, they like don't want to listen to you. So if you let them figure it out, like, oh, they figured it
Yeah.
out, they're like, wow, this is awesome. And I'm like, I know, right? Like,
No, I totally get that. Sometimes I'll have like little kids, like when I'm like doing like the labs and stuff, like at work, they'll be like, "Hey, what are you like doing?" So then I'm like walking them through it. It's like it's a lot of fun, yeah.
yeah, like it makes it more fun for them to be interactive
Mhm.
with it. That's so
It's
cool.
fun for them to like see it live or like that they kind of like discovered it. It's just
Yeah,
you
they
can
feel included.
exactly.
Mhm.
So teaching kind of shapes not only like the teacher, but it also shapes like the students too. So how do you feel like your students have kind of like shaped you personally, or how have they kind of changed you?
It's like crazy. I'm like blessed and grateful and like so lucky to have been born with like a limited amount of like sad hormones, and like I don't have
Mhm.
any sort of like I don't have ADHD, I don't have those kind of things, like thank God. But I never had to like learn things in terms of like emotional health. Like I wasn't like I never had been to therapy or anything like that. So I'm definitely lacking in like my knowledge in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And these kids are so knowledgeable in it. They like use the skills and they can identify them and like good communication and like talking about their emotions and their feelings and figuring out what they need and meeting them like meeting their needs so that they can focus in class and things like that. And so I've learned so much about that that like now I like walk around just like day to day and I like want to teach others. Like I'll like hear someone say something and I'm like, well, that wasn't an effective way to communicate. Like I obviously not gonna say that, but I want to because I'm like, these are just like life lessons that I never got because I just like they weren't accessible to me in school. Um and like it's so cool to see the kids know it. Even like the 7-year-olds, they're like, they'll be like, Miss Bree, you didn't communicate that very well to me. And I'm like, you know, you're right. Like they're just such good communicators and they're so like emotionally intelligent. And it's like so cool. Like it's so cool. It's really opened my eyes to things and like made me reevaluate like how I go about my days.
I feel like each generation they're kind of becoming like more tuned to like their feelings and communicating and stuff. I feel like
Yes.
even us as like Gen Z, we're good at it, like probably better than like our parents' generation, but this next like generation is like they're very like, let's talk it through.
Yeah. Like they just know what's going on. Like they can read it
Exactly.
and they can communicate it. It's so cool.
Hmm. So through your work, you encourage and you work with um people that are like struggling with learning disabilities or just struggling to take care of themselves. So what is something that you've kind of like learned about yourself through teaching that surprised you?
I say that I'm a morning person. I I like never really set myself to do it. Like if I had to be at school at 7:30, I was waking up at 7 and I was going to
Mhm.
school and I would be fine. But like just I think like one day I wanted to go in like I wanted to get a walk in before school just so that I know that I'm like ready and I have like a
Mhm.
good mental state, especially like, you know, it's like what the kids deserve, like me being ready when I walk into school because I like hope that they are. I did it once and then now I'm like, wait, this is awesome. Like I'm way more productive in the morning. I get more things done. I feel so much better about my days. So like having that opportunity and forcing myself to do that has like changed my whole life, my whole day to day.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I wish I could kind of like be a morning person because I feel like I would be a lot more productive, but
Yeah. When you wake yourself up early, you're like, oh, I have to use this time. Like I'm not just gonna sit around now. But at night I'm like, let me just watch TV, let me relax. I
no,
can't.
if I like wake up like an hour before like work, I'd probably like watch like something on like TV. I wouldn't actually like get up or like move my body or something like
Yeah.
that. Like do just yeah.
It's helpful to have a dog because they force you. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll get out of bed. Like I have to get out of bed because he's literally barking at me.
There's a lot of misunderstanding when it comes to the role of a PE teacher. So what do you wish that more people knew about your role or physical education in general?
Yes, this is like a huge thing. In college, like my professors had kind of like really told us, and they were like, "You're gonna get like pushed out." Like there's schools that they states that PE is not even like a requirement anymore. There's private schools that don't even have PE teachers. They don't even have like recess anymore and
Mhm.
things like that because it's like pushed on the back burner. But I do think that since it's like evolving from like what we said earlier, just sports and playing outside and into like an actual educational um like setting and like an actual class where they can learn more about themselves, like that is what I hope to like be able to spread because there's so much more to phys ed than just sports and like as you get older, quality of life, wellness, mental health, social health, everything like is around it. And it is unfair to people who don't get that growing up, like don't get knowledge about that. Um, so I guess I just hope to like be able to spread that. And I think that, you know, like we can continue to evolve into that, like more education and less physical kind of thing.
It makes total sense. I guess you can even like kind of tie it to like diet because diet
Yeah,
does play a huge role too.
right. There's so much like in terms of like your physical health, like your diet, your mood, your sleep, your
Mm-hmm.
everything that like affects your day to day. Like no one's able to think and get like these $1 million ideas and go to work every day if they aren't like properly fueling themselves, if they're not exercising, if they're not getting no sleep. So like there's I don't know, the importance of it is like so much more, I think, than a lot of schools give. And I think partially it's because like there's not a test around it. Partially it's because there's like you can't use it to get into a college. Like you
Mm-hmm.
can't put it on your resume that you like are healthy, but it really is like the foundation of like everyone's life and quality of life.
Exactly, yeah. We always talk about being like productive or being present or something like that, but if you're not like if you're feeling like tired or you're not mentally doing okay or you're hungry or something, you just can't focus or work or just perform well.
Right. And it's like a disservice to yourself and to everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
So teaching involves a lot of emotional energy and it does sometimes drain you out from
Yeah.
like motivating students to like kind of managing your own life on like simultaneously. So how do you kind of balance empathy and burnout prevention?
I am very fortunate to work at a school that has a lot of support in terms of like staff. Like there's not a lot of students and there's a lot of staff. I know that that's not the case everywhere, but it still is hard to be with students all day. It takes a lot of patience.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that it just comes down to like being self-aware and knowing when you need to give yourself a break. Because like we expect our students to like know if they need a break. We expect them to like, you know, let us know like, oh, I need to take a lap or whatever. But if I'm not doing that, then I can also like you said, burn out or like get an attitude or like have a hard time. So I think like one, chunking my day, and two, like giving myself breaks and like just being able to like take a deep breath, take a break, and then come back to it. Um, it's like some days you leave and you're like, oh my god, like I can feel the gray hairs growing in my hair. Like I am like so stressed out and that was so much. But also remembering like why I'm doing it and that it's worth it eventually and that like I am truly like I have a purpose in this, that also helps. Like reframing it in my mind.
And I guess like getting even like a little like movement or a little exercise before can also really aid with preventing burnout too.
Yeah, like going in with a clear mind, like I feel good. I've had like a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
endorphins, dopamine pumping. Yeah, I feel good about that. And like I don't know, it sets me up for success definitely.
So we're starting to like kind of wrap up the podcast. So I just had like just like a I don't know if I don't even know how I would categorize this. If you could kind of design your like ideal teaching environment, what would it look like and what would be the one thing that you'd want every student to take away from your class?
Okay, if I could design my ideal, I would have a big gym, but also a classroom so I can do both. Right now I don't have
Mm-hmm.
that, but um I think like I would have a lot of freedom in like what I'm teaching my students, but in like a obviously structured way. I think there's like I mean like we just keep saying there's so much more to learn than just the sports and things like that. So I think like support in that sense from my school, like as much love to my classroom and priority to my classroom as there is to like math and English.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then what was the second part of your question you said? What my
Uh,
students to take away?
yeah.
I just like want it to be more intrinsic. Like I want students to like understand why and then be able to motivate themselves in a way that like will lead them down like a healthy path and give them a good quality life and make them feel like confident and proud and like they're able to like take themselves through their life in a healthy way. Um, without it having to be me telling them to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want my students to like want to wake up and get a workout in or go home and get a workout in rather than like, oh, I have gym today, like Miss Bree's gonna force me to run around. And then I want them to be able to do that forever.
Mm-hmm. That's so true because I feel like PE when compared to like STEM classes or like reading English or the classes that matter, it doesn't get that importance. Like say a student like feels like PE, it's like, oh, it's just PE. But if it's like another class, it'd be like, oh my God, what did you even do?
Yeah. And there's a lot of schools that even give that attitude and show it to their students. Like they'll be like, oh, so and so has to retake their math test. They're gonna just sit out of PE today. And I'm like,
Mhm.
imagine if I came into your class and said, oh, they need to retake their test on anatomy. So sorry, they're not gonna go to math. They would be like, no, that's not an option. So I think like just like having an attitude and like support from all staff, all school,
Mhm.
all the students, like that's definitely more productive in helping the students learn.
True. And I feel like there's different levels of being like active. Like it could just be a walk or it could be a run or it could be a gym class. It could be like anything. I just feel like being active is important for everybody at any age.
Definitely. And it's not one size fits all. And I think that also like giving students access to different activities and different ways of moving their body opens their eyes as well. There's kids that are like, I'm horrible at sports, so I don't like gym. And I'm like, there's so much more. Sorry, there's kids around me. I'm like, there's so much more to moving your body and to like exercising than just sports. Like you can do yoga, like you said, cycling, running, jogging, going for a walk, literally like throwing the frisbee around, like stretching, lifting weights. Like there's just so much different aspects to it, and it doesn't have to just be sports. And it's hard when you're growing up because you don't see the other things. You just see like, oh, my parents are watching football or soccer or baseball on the TV, so I don't want to do that, so I'm not doing
Mhm. And I
it.
feel
Yeah,
like I guess that is also a problem with the PE classes that we have in like school. It's very like sports driven that you don't like spend time looking at the other things or gaining
yeah,
exposure on them too.
yeah, definitely need to expand.
So the last question that I had for you was what is piece of advice that you'd give for somebody that's starting out with teaching or hoping to kind of combine education and creativity wellness just like you have?
My one piece of advice would be, it's like overwhelming and daunting. I think when you think about like you have a bad day and in your head all you can think about is like I have to do this for 30 more years and my paycheck is half of my neighbors and like the students just keep getting worse and worse and worse in quotes obviously. But like remembering in the first place why you did it, because if you went into teaching, it wasn't for the money, it wasn't because it was going to be an easy day. There had to have been a reason. So like just reminding yourself of that and giving yourself time to reframe your mindset back to that is very important. Like there's a reason you did it. You just have to remind yourself your why, and it's going to be worth it. Like every day isn't going to be easy, but if it was going to be easy, we wouldn't have gone into it. We know everyone talks about it negatively, so we know. So just remembering why you did it and like what you what makes it feel purposeful.
And I guess like kind of just like sticking it through too, because you're
Yes,
not going to feel your 100% every day. You might feel 0 or 10, 50, 70, like, but you just got to be present and be there.
definitely. And it's so much more like I think that there's opportunities to complain about your job no matter where you work. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think that like having doing it because you're passionate about it and it feels purposeful and you're actually having an impact, like reminding yourself like this is impactful. It's not just like random numbers, it's not just whatever, like selling t-shirts, like this is real impactful work. And then reminding yourself of that on your hard days. Because there's gonna be hard days, but there's also gonna be really good ones and it's like so fun, so worth it.
Thank you so much, Brianne. This was an amazing podcast. I really loved talking to you and just kind of bouncing ideas off of each other. It was really amazing.
Yay, thank you so much. This was so fun.
Take my hand, we're gonna go to Central Park as friends, lie under blue sky.